Right now, as you read this, someone is on the other side of your trade. Not an algorithm, not a computer, a decision made by someone with more capital, more information, and more patience than you have right now. And here is the uncomfortable truth. They knew you were going to enter before you entered. They positioned themselves to take your money. And they did it using your own predictable behavior against you. This video is about who that someone actually is, not in a conspiracy theory way, in a mechanical, provable, this is how markets actually function way. Because once you understand who is really in the market with you, every chart you look at will never look the same again. Video 3. Let's get into it. There are three types of participants in every financial market: retail traders, institutions, and market makers. Most trading education spends 90% of its time teaching you strategies and almost zero time teaching you who you are actually trading against. That is like teaching someone how to play chess without ever telling them that the pieces move differently. You can memorize every opening, but if you do not understand how the other side thinks, you will lose. Every time. Let's start with retail traders, because that is you. And the first thing you need to understand about yourself as a retail trader is this: you are not the target. You are the fuel. Think about what a retail trader actually is in the context of the market. You are someone managing between a few hundred and a few $100,000. You are using publicly available information, charts, news, YouTube videos, trading courses. You are making decisions based on patterns you learned from resources that are available to everyone. And you are entering and exiting positions in ways that are almost perfectly predictable. Not because you are unintelligent, but because everyone learned the same patterns from the same resources. When price approaches a round number, retail traders put their stop losses just below it. When price breaks a previous high, retail traders buy the breakout. When a hammer candle forms at support, retail traders go long. These behaviors are so consistent and so predictable that the participants who have the ability to see order flow can literally see your stop losses, your entry orders, and your take profit levels sitting in the market before you even execute them. This predictability is not a flaw in the system. It is the system. The retail trader is the most important participant in the market, not because of the capital they bring, but because of the liquidity they provide. Every stop loss you place becomes a buy or sell order the moment it triggers. Every breakout entry you take becomes the exit liquidity for someone who positioned before the breakout. Your fear and your greed, expressed through your trading decisions, create the exact market conditions that larger participants need to build and exit their positions efficiently. You are not being cheated. The system is working exactly as designed. The question is whether you are going to keep being the fuel or learn to read the mechanics well enough to stop being used as one. Now let's talk about the most important participant in any market: the institution. Institutions are not one thing. They are a category that includes central banks, commercial banks, hedge funds, sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, insurance companies, and proprietary trading firms. What all of these have in common is size. And size creates a problem that retail traders never have to think about. When you want to buy Bitcoin, you click buy, and you get filled instantly at the market price. Done. When a hedge fund wants to buy $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, the problem is completely different. The moment they start buying, the price begins to move against them. Every purchase they make drives the price higher, making every subsequent purchase more expensive. They are buying against themselves. This is the fundamental mechanical constraint that shapes everything institutions do in markets. They cannot simply buy when they want to buy and sell when they want to sell. They need to engineer the conditions that allow them to fill their orders without disturbing the market against themselves. And the way they do this is the single most important thing to understand about how markets actually function. Here is exactly how institutional accumulation works. An institution identifies an asset it wants to own. It does not immediately start buying. Instead, it waits. It lets price come to a level where retail selling is abundant, a level where retail traders are scared, where momentum is to the downside, where everyone believes the price is going lower. This is typically after a prolonged decline, near a level of obvious support that retail traders have their stop losses sitting just below. Now the institution begins to quietly absorb the retail selling. Every retail trader who panics and sells, the institution is on the other side, quietly buying. Every stop loss that triggers below support, the institution is absorbing those market sell orders. This process takes time: days, weeks, sometimes months. And during this time, Price appears to be doing nothing, going sideways. Boring, unremarkable. This is the most dangerous phase for retail traders because boredom causes them to abandon positions right before the move begins. Once the institution has accumulated enough of its position, something specific happens. It engineers a final liquidity grab. Price is pushed below that obvious support level, triggering the final cluster of stop losses sitting there. Retail traders who were holding on panic and exit. New retail traders see the breakdown and short the market. All of this selling pressure is absorbed by the institution in a final burst of accumulation. And then, with no sellers left and the institution fully positioned, price reverses sharply. The people who shorted the breakdown are now trapped. Their covering creates additional buying pressure. The people who were stopped out re-enter from the long side. And the institution, sitting on a full position built at the lowest possible prices, watches the markup phase begin. This sequence is not theory. It is the documented mechanical behavior of every significant market move in history. Wyckoff described it in the 1920s. Smart money traders describe it today. The names change. The mechanics do not. Now let's talk about the market maker, because this is the participant most retail traders completely misunderstand. A market maker is not your enemy. A market maker is a business. Specifically, it is a business that profits from providing liquidity. Here is how it works. When you want to buy EUR/USD, someone has to be willing to sell it to you at the exact moment you click buy. In a perfectly efficient market, you would need to find another trader who wanted to sell at the exact same time you wanted to buy. That would make trading nearly impossible. The market maker solves this problem. They stand ready to buy or sell at any time. They quote a bid price at which they will buy and an ask price at which they will sell. The difference between those two prices is the spread. And the spread is the market maker's compensation for providing instant liquidity. The market maker does not care about direction. They are not trying to predict where EUR/USD is going. They are trying to manage a balanced book. For every position they take on one side, they are either hedging it or waiting for the opposite flow to come in and offset it. Their profit comes from the spread, not from directional trading. This is important because it means the market maker is simultaneously your broker, your counterparty, and a neutral participant who has no opinion about where price goes. Understanding this removes a lot of the conspiracy thinking around brokers. Your broker is not necessarily trying to stop your trades from winning. They are trying to manage their own risk exposure while collecting spread. However, there is a nuance that matters. When a large number of retail traders are positioned in one direction, the market maker has an unbalanced book. They are holding the opposite side of too many trades going one way. To rebalance, they need the other side. And the easiest way to create the other side is to move price to a level where the opposite flow will naturally emerge. This is where the market maker's behavior begins to look suspiciously like it is hunting your stop losses. Because in a mechanical sense, it is. Not because they hate you, because they need the liquidity your stop losses provide to rebalance their own exposure. Here is the framework that ties all three participants together. Think of the market as a predator and prey ecosystem. The retail trader is the most abundant species. They provide the most liquidity, and they are the most predictable. The institution is the apex predator. It uses the predictability of retail behavior to engineer optimal entry and exit conditions. The market maker is the environment itself. It provides the conditions for the interaction to happen. It profits from the activity regardless of who wins or loses. And it occasionally nudges price in directions that serve its own need for balanced exposure. Once you see the market this way, patterns you previously thought were random begin to make sense. Price always seems to sweep just below your stop before reversing. That is the institution and market maker creating the conditions for accumulation while eliminating the retail traders who would provide resistance to the next move. Price always seems to break out just as you finally buy the resistance level. That is institutional distribution into your buying. The breakout you bought is their exit. The rally you missed by 2 candles before you entered is the markup phase that has already been fully funded by the accumulation you were not watching. The question you should be asking at this point is not, how do I get lucky enough to be on the right side? The question is, how do I read the evidence that tells me what the institution is doing before it becomes obvious? And the answer to that question is exactly what the rest of this series teaches. Market structure tells you the direction the institution has chosen. Liquidity zones tell you where the institution is likely to engineer its next move. Order blocks tell you where the institutional buying or selling originated. Volume analysis tells you whether the move you are seeing is institutional conviction or retail noise. Fair value gaps tell you where the institution moved price so quickly that it created an imbalance it will likely return to fill. Every concept in this series is a tool for reading institutional behavior, not for predicting the future, for reading the evidence of decisions that have already been made by participants with the information advantage, and positioning yourself on the same side of those decisions before the retail crowd figures out what happened. Here is the mindset shift. Stop thinking about your trade as you versus the market. The market is not a single opponent. It is an ecosystem of participants with different sizes, different information, and different goals. Your job is not to beat the market. Your job is to identify which participant is currently in control, what that participant needs to happen next, and whether the evidence on your chart supports the conclusion that what that participant needs is about to happen. When institution needs to accumulate, price will move to create panic selling. When institution needs to distribute, price will move to create FOMO buying. When market maker needs to rebalance, price will sweep to collect the stop losses that create the opposite flow. Read the need. Position for the consequence. That is institutional trading in one sentence. Drop a comment. At what point in this video did your understanding of why price moves the way it does actually click for you? I read every single one. Stay disciplined.